The browser extension Honey sold for $4 billion to PayPal in 2020. It is one of many examples of successful extensions that have existed on the App Store. There's a lot of money to be made in browser extensions, but is it the right decision for your next or existing startup? Hi, I'm Jerry, and in this video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of building a Chrome extension for your next startup. Browser extensions have been around for a very long time. In fact, Chrome opened their first extension store in 2010. They're a powerful and great way to get new customers or even to expand on your existing audience. But they do come with their own advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage of building a browser extension is easier adoption. It's a lot easier to ask existing or new customers to download and install a Chrome extension than it is to ask them to download and install a mobile app or to sign up for your SaaS. This isn't purely because extensions are somehow easier to download or easier to use. It really depends on what your business is and how an extension can help. For example, if you're a coupon site like Honey, having an extension is an excellent way for your customers to autofill coupons on a website. But if you're an airline, it makes more sense to have a mobile app where people can check in versus having a Chrome extension where, people can check in through their browser. It's very unlikely something like that would be helpful to a client. What business your startup is in matters a lot to whether or not an extension would be easy to download and adopt. The second advantage is that an extension can be an extension of your existing business, pun intended. For example, my last startup was a real estate analytics tool, which people could use to essentially calculate on-the-fly analytics on a property they saw online. Now, there was a web app that supported it where they could insert the numbers or even have it imported, but it was far easier to go on a website where they could see homes for sale, click a Chrome extension button, and immediately crunch the numbers and see the result right on their screen without having to leave the web page. That is a very powerful extension of an existing startup. The third advantage is that it's easier and shorter to develop. What that means is that generally an extension tends to have less features than a full-blown web or mobile app. Therefore, you can expect shorter and easier development times. By the way, if you want to see how to make a Chrome extension, like and subscribe so that you can see when I release my extension tutorial. The fourth advantage is that extensions can leverage the power of browsers. Browsers offer a wide array of APIs that an extension can integrate with. For example, opening or customizing a tab, reading information on a web page, doing calculations on the fly. There are a wide array of capabilities that browsers offer the extension that can make life easier for a user. Now on to the disadvantages of building an extension startup. The first disadvantage is that extensions are not widely supported on mobile devices. For example, making a Chrome extension on a desktop doesn't mean that it's going to be supported on mobile. In fact, Chrome extensions cannot be used on an iPhone outside of a Safari environment. If you want to support an extension on iOS, you have to develop a Safari extension, which can be used on iPad, iPhones, and any Mac computer. The second disadvantage to building an extension is that you're at the mercy of the App Store, whether it's the Safari or Firefox or Chrome App Store. Any infraction or any mistake that your app has could potentially have it be removed. Now, that's not the case with a full-blown web app where you have much more control over the domain, over the app, where it's hosted, where it's shown and marketed. With an app store, a Chrome extension can only live there. Now, don't get me wrong, you could have your Chrome extensions live on a web page outside of the App Store, but it's far more unlikely for a client to download an extension off of your website compared to downloading it off of a safe Chrome App Store. The third disadvantage that a lot of people don't know about is that extensions can be easily decrypted. In fact, the Chrome store forbids you from obfuscating or encrypting the code that you send and upload to their servers. As a result, there are many and plenty of tools out there where you can decrypt a Chrome extension and then see the code basically as you wrote it. Now, there are ways around this. For example, keeping the most important and proprietary parts of your app behind an API. For example, if you had something that was calculating important numbers, you could take that information, send it to an API where it's hosted on your server away from a user's computer, and then do the calculation there and send the result back to the user. that part of the code is never exposed to the user, and therefore they never get to see that code unless somehow they get access to your servers. If you're on the fence about building an extension, I say go for it. An extension is a great way to get those new customers, or even just to expose your existing audience to new parts of your app that they can use while on a browser. Are you writing a Chrome extension? Or perhaps you're exploring Safari or Firefox extensions? Maybe you're working in the mobile space. If so, I'd love to hear about it. Make sure to leave a comment below. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for listening. I'm Jerry.